Welcome, everyone, to the Wildly Opinionated News Hour. Todd's World. I'm Todd.
Woo!
This is
Hey, Todd.
Carrie. Carrie's with me.
Hello.
Co-host,
Did you miss me?
always. Of course. We took a week off. We're back. Everybody must have missed us. I don't know how you made sense of all the things going on in the world.
I know. What do people do without us? My mom, your Aunt Nancy, said, "Yeah, get back to it
She's
all
got
week
to.
long." She's like, I kept going to listen, and it wasn't there.
Well, we're back, and a lot happened while we were gone.
Did it?
I married off my daughter. That
Woo!
was fun. Congratulations to Risa Michaels. A beautiful wedding.
Yes, so wonderful.
It was more work than I anticipated and more stressful than I anticipated and maybe a little bit more anxiety producing than I anticipated, but I made it through it all.
You did it, and now you
So,
have a son. How cool is that?
yeah, our son-in-law at least.
Yeah,
Is it
it
the same thing?
counts. Oh, I think so.
I said in my speech, like, I'm so happy just to have another dude for all
Ex-
these chicks I'm surrounded with constantly.
exactly.
Like,
And people laugh. I love
yeah,
that.
people more than they know. I mean, my life is like
Yeah.
chick centered.
You
And
are
there's like
really, really, surrounded for
three
sure.
daughters, beautiful stepdaughter, Allie, Nikki, my sisters, of
Mhm.
which I only ever talked to one, but let's call her a sister. It just seems
No,
like a lot of girls.
sisters, daughters, why a wife. It's a lot of women.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So I'm
Yeah,
happy. I'm so happy that,
another dude.
yeah, I get Michael and it's fun and he's a good guy, great guy. And I'm really excited for him. So yeah, it all
That's
went
so
really
great.
well. It was real, very, very, very busy.
Mhm.
More so
Yeah.
than I maybe anticipated. I'm one of those people
Yeah.
who I try not to like worry about a lot of things before they
Mhm.
happen.
Right.
But so then it happens and I am not completely unprepared for the level of like stress and goings on.
When does it hit you when you're in the middle of it? Like,
Yeah, when I'm doing, I'm like, God, there's a
why
lot
am I
going
feeling
on.
like this? I didn't worry about this at all. It's good though. Not worrying is a healthy thing, so
But
it will
it went
serve you
well.
well.
He's got, the other Michael's family's a fabulous family of
Oh,
mostly, I think,
nice.
largely Hoosiers. They're from Indiana.
Oh,
And,
gotcha.
so not far, just a
Mhm.
state down. A red state, thank God, compared to Michigan,
Oh gosh.
purple state.
Is Michigan purple?
It's definitely purple.
Well, it's better
Oh, you're
than
probably worried that it's blue. People may worry it's blue. I don't think it's blue. I think
I
it's
don't think it
purple.
is. Yeah, I think
I
it
think if we actually had honest elections, which, I mean, we don't, so that's a big
right.
if.
If
But
you
if we
did, it
did,
would be red.
I mean, we don't in Michigan anyway. Maybe in other states, I'm sure are better, and it seems like things are getting cleaned up or attempting to be
Mhm.
cleaned up. So, be nice if we could find out. I'd love to have real elections and find out just how all these states are comprised
I
compared to
know,
what
wouldn't
we've
that be
been told.
cool? I'd
Yeah.
be really curious about California.
Yeah, I think California's not as blue as they think, but I still think
Mhm.
it's probably pretty blue. But
I
um,
guess.
I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how much. I don't know if any of us know. Maybe Trump knows. I don't know if any of us know how much chicanery is going on out there in the world. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? But, the
too
big
much.
thing that happened while we were gone,
Yeah.
well, how was your week? You had 2 weeks away. Everything's good with you?
Yep, everything's good. Yeah, lots going on. I've been busy tackling
Busy,
some
busy,
house
busy.
projects. Work's been really busy, but yeah, having fun,
Yeah.
talking to strangers and
Look at you go.
yeah, no, it's been a good couple weeks, but I missed it, but it was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice to have a Saturday. I went out to breakfast with some friends who I don't get to see very often.
Look at us go. The
Yeah.
sacrifices we make for the country,
Oh,
for
for
our
the
little
whole
part in
country.
America's Civil War. Um, to you, the
Yeah,
big thing that
what
happened was the
happened?
Mideast peace. I
Yes.
mean, that was by far and away probably the biggest news, and
Mhm.
quite frankly, a little bit shocking on how it all came together. What was your impression? Just kind of watching things.
I heard that it happened.
You didn't pay a lot of attention.
No, I really am I'm not I've gotta turn the X notifications off on my phone, like, they come through
And
every,
that
like, 5 minutes.
and
I
you
get
ignore them.
well, yeah, because it's, like, too much on the front, like, the
I
head
don't have X notifications set
yeah.
up on mine. I
The
don't get
headline
notifications from X or Facebook or any of them.
well, that's smart. The banner always shows the name of the account, and then it says, "Breaking news," and it says, "Trump announces," and then there's nothing, and I'm like, "Okay. I I don't have time for this." So, but I just saw that they had reached an agreement. Then I heard someone say, "Yeah, they reached an agreement, but then Israel went and bombed somebody," and I was like, "Okay, well, I'll wait till
I
the
don't
wildly opinionated news hour to find out what really happened."
I don't think that that ended up being the end of the world as far as, I think the peace will stand, it seems to me.
Mhm.
I'll tell you what my overall impression is that and we're gonna play some clips here. We got
Mhm.
Trump talking about it. Scott Adams got emotional,
Oh,
um, because this is what we this he gave up a lot personally. A lot of us gave up a lot to support Trump, and he felt like Trump bringing peace to a region that's never had it was
yeah.
that's the payoff. You know
So
what I
who
mean?
yeah, so the peace was between whom?
Between Hamas and Israel, essentially. But what
Okay.
happened is Trump ended up bringing in a bunch of Arab countries. So Egypt was heavily involved, Turkey was heavily involved,
Okay.
Qatar, or Qatar, whatever they go by.
I think it's Qatar.
Um, probably Jordan. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, but I think really what happened, by and large, and we may hear this from Steve Bannon or somebody in some of the clips,
Okay.
but it is I think that Trump basically brought in all these Arabic countries, and they they were on board, and Hamas had been just by and large, I mean, the entire Gaza Strip had been blown all to hell by
Right.
Israel. I mean, there's you look at it, you see
It's
drone
pretty
shots,
wrecked.
there's nothing left.
Right.
And so I don't think there was much of Hamas left to fight, if that
Okay.
makes sense. And then what
Mhm.
happened was all these Arab countries, whether it was Egypt, Turkey, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, any of them,
Mhm.
the one thing you heard over here, and you have heard for months, a lot of talk about all of the carnage in Israel, the genocide that's taken place in Palestine, and them just turning the entire place into kitty litter, right? There's
Mhm.
been a lot of that going on over here. You know where that hasn't been going on is over there. Nobody in the Arab world gave a damn about the Palestinians. I think is what it came down to.
Yeah.
They decided to just flat out cut loose Hamas and cut loose the Palestinians.
Mhm.
And I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a coalition of Arab states take over Gaza, and it's going to become the next Dubai. Essentially, it'll be kind of a multi-country
Ooh.
Arabic uh gorgeous place. I mean, they got beachfront, they got everything right there on the Mediterranean on the ocean.
Right, but
And
who's gonna be leading it? Who's gonna be in charge?
I don't know exactly, but my guess would be that it would be it'll be its own kind of little place, kind of like the United Arab Emirates. You
Okay.
know what I mean? You'll have this
Mhm.
little place there, and it'll have influences. I think Turkey's going to provide defense. Um,
Okay.
in the end, let's listen to Steve Bannon. He's
Okay.
talking about how well. Let's listen to Trump first.
Okay.
This is Trump talking a little bit about what happened. The piece is short clip. So this is after the hostages were freed. So everybody, we had this thing in place, this agreement, this peace agreement,
Mhm.
and um, Trump, but it was all predicated on are they going to turn over the hostages or aren't they?
Right.
And so then what happened is Trump flies over there. He flies over. He's in the Knesset or the Knesset, whatever they call whatever Israel calls their kind of legislative body.
Okay.
Trump went in there and was given a peace talk. And I mean, you had on the streets of Israel people cheering for Trump. Netanyahu's name would come up and they'd boo, but when Trump's name came up, they were cheering. Trump is the peacemaker
Mhm.
and has brought this to everybody. And when the hostages were released, that was like it was done and
Yeah.
it was over. And he negotiated something that everybody said nobody could have done except Trump.
Yeah. I
And I
believe
think and
that.
I think that there's truth to that, at
Mhm.
least for right now. I mean, at this current moment in history that we're in. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's hard to compare historical figures, but it's hard to
Right.
say Trump, TR, FDR. You
Well,
know what I mean?
but I think it's really easy to compare Trump to, the corpse
Obama.
Joe Biden, who didn't negotiate. Well, you know what? Honestly, I'm sorry.
Oh, Biden. That is
Oh,
what we should
Biden.
call them. That's basically
I
what they are.
I I
It's
don't
the
even know
same thing.
I don't even know if I've heard that before, if it just slipped out, but Obama, I'm surprised even Obama didn't step up and say, "I will go and, like, help negotiate these hostages." It's like,
He
no
doesn't
one
have
did
the
anything,
he doesn't have the bandwidth. He can't do it, I don't think.
but I
Well,
think he would
I also
I
don't
would
think he
think
cares
he
about it,
thinks he well, exactly, that's why they didn't do it, and I just think
but he doesn't have the
it's
he
easy to
doesn't
say,
I
currently, Trump's
I
the only one who could do it, and he did.
I think what Trump is bringing about is something that is gonna be a major, major change in the Middle East, which
Okay,
is you're gonna see these countries start to turn from being Islamic countries. I don't mean that they're gonna change their religion per se.
okay,
But what I mean is for for a long time, for most until the last, I don't know, 50 to 100 years,
mhm,
they were Arab states first. They
okay.
went out and they made money and they made deals and they had trading partners and they made lots of money, but they didn't lead with their
Kill the
Islamic
infidels.
fascism. Yeah, that wasn't
Okay,
how they led. There was a change in that
mhm.
with Israel becoming a country, with everything that happened, whatever. It seems to me like it's reverting back. And Trump basically said to him, listen, you can either have your religious extremism or you can let that go and you can make some money. What do you want to do? And I think they decided to make some money
Yeah,
and just live in peace.
you cannot be a wasteland at war all the time.
Right. And I think that Trump,
Yeah,
and like I say, it's Trump. It's the leadership in Turkey, the leadership in Israel, a bunch of things that have come together over the last ever since Trump got into office back in 16, maybe even
mhm.
starting before that. And everybody, I think maybe even the Arab states are kind of over this whole terrorism thing. I
Gosh,
think they're
wouldn't
just
that be
over it.
amazing?
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
wouldn't
it's
that be
time to move
amazing?
on. Yeah, and that's part of what I think is so amazing about all this. Now, we're not going to know that until
Yeah.
5, 10, 20 years down the road when we're able to look back and really get a handle on it and see
And say
what
that this
happened
is
since.
yeah, this is when it shifted. I was gonna say, I mean, there are a whole lot of people out there who it's their whole lives. I mean, they're extremists, they've been brought up that way, they have training camps. My concern, now that hearing you say that, is if the leadership, the governments of these, um, countries have these extremists and terrorist-minded, factions, that they're
Mhm.
gonna rise up. It'll be almost like, war within, like, kind of like Civil War. I don't know, like rebellions against, but
What'll change
hopefully
that is if they've got if they bring if peace brings along with it a measure of prosperity for the citizens of
yeah,
these countries
that's
and they
true.
realize, "You know what? We can worship Allah
Mhm. Yeah,
in our mosque like we do. No one's telling us that we can't.
right,
But we don't have to worry about every other country out there doing it just like we do."
right. We don't have to go blow up people who aren't
Right.
worshiping Allah. Yeah,
And
got
I
it.
think I think
Wouldn't that be something?
I think that's where the Middle East is trending right now. So I actually
Very
think this
cool.
is seismic that, other people are like, well, they bombed this and they think this is just another thing. I don't think that's true. I think we're witnessing a
Okay.
seismic shift. Now, in the midst of seismic shifts, there's always on the micro level, you're going to see things that make you think, oh, it's just like this or it's just like that. That's why I say you almost have to get outside of it and really get a little removed from it to have a bigger view. But I
Mhm.
think Trump's setting the stage for that. You know what I
That's
mean?
awesome.
And so I'm very encouraged by it. Here's Trump. You know what? I should share. I haven't shared the audio yet, Carrie.
Okay.
Oh, it does this stupid thing on me. Hold on, guys. Oh, this
We've been
stupid
away
thing.
for a little bit, and, people don't even know. They don't know how hard it is to just
They don't know how hard it is to share for some reason on here. I'm so
it
annoyed.
it's
It's
doing your
all the time.
it's doing your screen share.
I know it's all over the place. Oh, this is so annoying. Stop share. Get me back up. Hold on. All right, guys, we're going to pause this recording, get the sound up and share and come right back. Okay. We got it, guys.
Alright.
No worries. The technical front. Todd has brought peace to the technical front of Todd's world.
Good job.
Only I could have done it. No, I'm just kidding.
The peacekeeping sound man right
Here
there.
it
Good
is.
job. Okay.
Here's Trump
Okay.
talking a little bit. This isn't a very long clip, and he's talking about what he wants, which is peace and
Praise God.
prosperity. I don't know if he says prosperity, but Trump wants prosperity.
Yeah, I think that's a given. Well said.
Yet, even to Iran, whose regime has inflicted so much death on the Middle East, the hand of friendship and cooperation is open. I'm telling you, they want to make a deal. That's all I do in my life. I make deals. I'm good at it. I've always been good at it. And I know when they want. Even if they said, we don't want to make a deal, I can tell you they want to make a deal. All right, they do. They want to make a deal, and we're going to see if we can do something because this is crazy what's happening, and we're not going to have this anymore. Neither the United States nor Israel bear the people of Iran any hostility. We merely want to live in peace. We don't want any looming threats over our heads, and we don't want to even think in terms of nuclear destruction. It's not going to happen, never will happen. Yeah.
So that was him talking about Iran
Nice.
and saying, "Hey, we're ready for peace." I suspect you'll see even Iran come around. I really do. I think they're isolated enough now. I think Trump has slowly but surely, ever since he came in 2016,
Mhm.
he's taken Arabic countries off the board. In fact, you notice I got my Trump shirt on today because I think this was a huge. The last week or two, I don't remember which it was because
Mhm.
I think it was a week before the wedding. And so I was paying attention, but I had a lot going on. And so I think that Trump has been and is, and he's been partnering with Arabic countries. I
Mhm.
actually believe that you're seeing a shift away from what has seemed to be, to many people, an Israel first type policy in America. I think
Mhm.
even that is changing and shifting. I think
Well,
Israel wanted Gaza and they're not going to get Gaza.
mhm.
It's going to be what amounts to, in fact, I've got Bannon talking about this. It's going to be what amounts to a two-state solution.
Well, and I wanna say something, a comment on that, and that is that and I don't think it's it not being an Israel first mindset doesn't mean it's an anti-Israel. It's like, "Hey,
Right.
everyone," like, yeah, what you're saying is, "Let's find a way for everyone to,
Yeah.
coexist happily, peacefully,
Yeah.
and prosper." I like it.
I think you're watching. I think it's been a combination of things.
Mhm.
What Israel did, I don't know if Trump. I got so much Steve Bannon today, but I don't want.
Okay.
This isn't the War Room podcast, even though I
Okay.
love Steve Bannon. But I felt like his takes on a lot of this were really good.
Okay.
And that Steve Bannon's takes on what was going on over there informed much of the rest of right-wing conservative media.
Okay.
And to the extent they didn't inform it, they were wrong and he was right on. That was my sense as I was listening to him. I felt like this guy's got a peg on what's going on right now from a
Okay.
geopolitical worldview standpoint. Now, here he is talking about this is Steve Bannon. And he said there's so much because there was a lot of happy talk coming out. Oh, Israel this, Israel that. This was a big win, whatever.
Mhm.
Bannon has a little different take on it. And I think Bannon is closer to where Trump is. At least
Okay.
that's my sense. You know what I mean? And not where well, I think Netanyahu's in trouble. And I think that Trump did a few things. We're going to talk. Well, I know Netanyahu's in trouble. This war didn't benefit anybody but Netanyahu, really, because he was under investigation by the Israeli parliament, had some problems in court, and had he not had this war, may well have been out of power. This
Oof.
this war, October
Okay.
7th, kept
Yeah.
Netanyahu in power. He has also been the one reason that we haven't had any real accounting of what happened on October 7th.
Yes.
So all
Which
roads lead to Bibi. I
yeah, I
think
was gonna say that should really be concerning to people,
I
and
think it is in Israel. I've heard people say that if they hadn't had this war, there'd be a civil war in Israel and he'd have been out. So I mean, I
oh,
I
shoot.
think I think that there's a huge, huge part of Israel that is not on board with where Netanyahu is. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Yep.
I'm
Okay.
just talking politically. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
hear
none
you.
of this crazy Christian/Israel/religious talk. I'm not
Right.
talking everything I'm going to be referring to in this program, since it's news and not beers with Jesus. Hey, that's a good opportunity for a plug.
Oh,
It
well
is.
done.
Listen, guys, we
So,
do 2 podcasts a week. We do the Wildly Opinionated News Hour, which you are currently enjoying. And I hope
yes.
that you enjoy all the way to the end and that you send it to your friends, tell your friends to listen. It's our take on what's going on in the world. And then Wednesdays, so that drops on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, we drop Beers with Jesus, where we're walking through the stories of the Bible, essentially. Right now we're in Acts. So it's the
Mhm.
story of the early church, the story of Jesus Church. And we stick with it pretty close. So we stick, we kind of stick our religion there and our news here and our
Yeah.
politics here, and we kind of we talk
Our
about the
two
things nobody's supposed to talk about, but we
our
try
2
not to
favorite
mix it.
topics.
Yeah. So I have
Yeah.
a lot of opinions on the religious front and the biblical front when it comes to Israel, but
Yeah.
everything I'm talking about when it comes right now in the news portion is strictly kind of from a political standpoint.
Right. Yeah.
So, and from a political standpoint, Netanyahu had issues. From a political standpoint, there's a
Mhm.
lot of unanswered questions about October 7th.
I agree.
Point is, you should listen to both podcasts regularly, give them 5 stars.
Yes,
If you're on
please.
Apple, comment, do whatever you can
Share
to
with some
help us promote
friends.
this show so we can get the word out. Because don't you want other people to enjoy what you're enjoying right now? Don't keep it to yourself.
Selfish bastards.
There's more than enough of Carrie and I for everyone.
I know. At least through this platform there is.
So,
Yeah.
and also toddsworld.net is where a bunch of the merch is. We have Trump stuff, we have witness insurrection stuff, Todd's World, wildly opinionated gear. I got to actually work on the store a little bit.
Right.
And then my books are on Amazon under Todd Allen. So, yeah, check
Go
everything
check
out.
them out. Todd's written several
And
things.
on all
They're
the
all really
socials, you can
good.
find us at either Todd's World 2023, or just follow me,
Mhm.
Todd Allen. I'm on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. You won't have a problem figuring out who it is, because mostly what I post is clips of this show. I did a wedding post. I did a nice little wedding post,
Oh my gosh, it was so
which
cute.
I hardly took any pictures. So those were the whole pictures I took for the entire wedding.
Your pictures, though, were so great. Like I think you said in your post that these are ones that no one else would
I got a
have. They
couple
were
that nobody
so
else
cute
got, because
of you
Reese
two
and I were
getting
together
married.
before I was walking her down the aisle. That was really a little bit kind of a moving thing, an emotional little, not, I
Yeah.
wasn't like crying, but it was just like, it was kind of special in a way that maybe
It's poignant
I
with
didn't
it for life.
anticipate. Again, I didn't, people are, well, were you worried about this? You worried about, I never think about things all that much before they happen. So I wasn't processing a bunch of stuff. And then when it happened, it was so cool. And it was
I
so
love
special
that.
to be with Reese and enjoy that. And so, but anyway,
That
most
was
of
one of the things I thought about in advance a lot was I'm like, "Oh my gosh, they're gonna be, like, walking down the aisle together, like,
See, maybe it's a chick thing to think about things in advance all the time,
oh,
and I'm surrounded
weddings,
by chicks, so I feel like everybody is,
chicks think
except
about
me.
everything about the weddings. They know, yeah. It's so great, though.
Beautiful, though. Reese did an amazing job.
Mhm.
Um, so this is Steve Bannon,
Okay.
and this is his take on the Israeli peace thing, and I think it's worth listening to. I don't know if we'll listen to the whole quote or the whole clip. We'll see where it goes.
Okay.
But this is Steve Bannon from the War Room podcast. He was also one of Trump's senior advisors in his first term. Steve Bannon, along with Peter Navarro, actually went to prison, federal prison, for 4 months because they claimed executive privilege, and in contempt of Congress, they were sent to prison, which doesn't happen, but of course it did to Trump's people.
Yeah.
So why isn't
Unbelievable.
it happening to Democrats right now? That's a good question. I'd like to know that. But anyway, I'd like to know
I
why
know.
James Comey didn't get a perp walk like Trump did. Why didn't he get his picture taken? Why did he get to sneak into the courtroom? I think the answer is that none of these people are actually going to be held accountable by the criminal justice system, which doesn't mean Trump's DOJ should not bring the cases. To some extent, the process is the punishment, and it needs to be exposed to the American people, and they
Mhm.
need to know how corrupt our criminal justice system is. So put it all out there. Let's see it. Let the show trials begin. So
I hate
anyway,
that that's where we are, but I think you're right.
This is Bannon, Steve Bannon.
The negotiation of those points took place. Ambassador Dermer, and Ron Dermer is a good man. If you ever know him, he's a good man. He's obviously one of Netanyahu's top guys. He's been ambassador here. Really knows Washington, knows the Trump, knows Jared very well, knows Witkoff, knows MAGA. A good man. He was not really part of the negotiations. They really weren't looking for Israel's inputs. And I hate to be so blunt about it, but there's so much happy talk coming out of the Israel First crowd that just doesn't face reality. Reality is you got yourself a two-state solution, and not just a two-state solution, but a two-state solution with big-time muscle in back of the Palestinians, big-time money from the Gulf Emirates, and big-time security from the combination of Muslim and Arab nations who we've been selling arms to and training their military for decade after decade after decade, including a NATO member, I might add, which is Turkey.
Turkey, yeah.
That will seize up. The same Turkey that at the very mention that Netanyahu was even coming had been offered an invitation, told him in the air, if that is the case and Netanyahu's coming, I'm turning my jet around even though I'm in Egyptian airspace.
Dang.
I want you to contemplate that to what reality is. That's reality.
Wow.
People can put the spin on it anyway, but what's going to happen in Judea-Samaria is not going to be any more Israel, if the historic homeland and heart of it, of which I've said, hey, there's a compelling argument there, and this is why on a Christian state, which I say if you don't have a Christian state within 20 years, I'm not sure you're going to have Israel. Joel Gilbert today, independent filmmaker, a very smart guy about the region, and obviously he said some things about Gaza and the Palestinians that are maybe not backed up, and he got called down a little bit by Kurt Mills. They got into it a little bit. That's fine. People have different opinions and maybe garner facts in their own way. But Joe Gilbert's he's more adamant than I am about the political defeat of Netanyahuism in this endeavor.
Mm.
And of course, Tel Aviv Levin is out saying about President Trump said about the bombing and the bomb.
He calls Mark Levin Tel Aviv Levin.
Oh no. Oh,
so anyway, that's Steve Bannon kind of giving his take that all is not as great for Israel as Israel tried to make it out to be.
Right. And it sounds like Steve Bannon, that's Steve Bannon talking. It sounds also like he's distinguishing, or he's kind of drawing a line of distinction between Israel and Netanyahu.
Yeah.
Netanyahu.
For sure.
And that's going to be interesting too, because I mean, you can and you can't. Well, that's how we kind of feel about Ukraine. We feel like, which I know I'm sure we're going to get onto that at some point. The
Garden Gnome
today, the Garden Gnome.
I don't feel like much has gone on there. I don't have a whole lot on Ukraine or Russia. I think it will. I know that the Garden Gnome came and met with Trump on Friday, but I'll be honest, I didn't hear much about it.
I was watching the live broadcast about it and then got interrupted. My sons and friends come over. I had to turn it off because I couldn't hear, and they're not into that. And they'd be like, what are you watching?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
We've got games to play.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, I think we'll talk about what that is. But you know how we draw the distinction between Zelensky and the Ukrainian people?
Right.
I see him doing the same thing between Netanyahu and the people of Israel.
I do think that's kind of a problem in this. I think it's good on one side, I'm going to call it an anti-Israel narrative that has taken place among Gen Z and among a lot of the American right-wing media, Tucker. I'm calling it anti-Israel. I'm not sure that that's fair. I don't know that they're anti-Israel as much as they are anti-Israel first in American politics type of thing.
Got it. Like, why do we have to be so obsessed?
But I also think that that tends to treat Israel as a bit more of a monolith than it is. It's a country that has half the population doesn't like Netanyahu, isn't on board with it. They are not marching in lockstep toward, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, it is easy to get lost in that because we're not over there. We aren't
Right.
reading the Jerusalem papers every day or whatever.
Mhm.
And so we're not caught up in that drama. We just see them as kind of this big thing they have too
Right.
much influence, they have too much this, and they run the world, and whatever.
Right.
But I don't think that they're quite as monolithic over there. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So and same thing with Ukraine. Now Ukraine's a little
Mhm.
different because the Garden Gnome has declared himself a dictator. Basically, I mean, he suspended elections. There's no elections. There haven't been elections. There were supposed to be elections, and he just said, in
Wait,
times of war, we can't
when
have
did
elections.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, when did that happen? Because I feel like I
It
missed
was
that, but
after
you're just saying.
Russia attacked. Within a year, I think they were supposed to have
Okay.
elections, and he just suspended them because you can't have
It's like
elections during times of war. I mean,
right.
we have, but most
But, he didn't wanna get kicked out just yet. He
right.
wanted to have front seats for the show
Yeah, because the
or
Ukrainian
front row
people
seats.
aren't interested in any of this, I don't think, but or by and large, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah,
Okay.
I think that that's the difference. Now, this is some more Bannon on Israel. This is a shorter one,
Okay.
talking about how Gaza
Okay.
is the world's biggest crime scene.
Oof.
Interesting.
Something
I
else
know
that
why you
President
like
Trump is
this.
going to see that I think is going to be a quite big issue. And, Kurt Mills is a quite controversial figure, but I've known Kurt now for 10, 15 years, is one of the smartest guys around. He said, hey, because Dave Brett made this brilliant point about transparency. And over the next couple of days, you're going to see transparency, both on the hostages side of what they really went through, but also as people start getting into Gaza. And the footage we've seen coming out of Gaza is pretty horrific. Kurt Mills referred to it as the world's biggest crime scene. And what's going to happen, because a lot of the media or some of the media haven't been into certain areas of town, there's going to be, I think, as Kurt said, a cyclone of media, and we're going to have to see how it falls out. So on that front, there's a lot more to come.
I think he's right about that.
Okay, so you think footage is gonna come out
It already
about what's
has been.
happening, and when he calls it a crime scene, does he mean, crimes of Israel against
Yes.
the people in Gaza?
Believe that's what he is referencing.
Okay.
I mean, there's already drone footage coming out, and it looks like, I mean, it doesn't look like anything you've really ever seen in like a war. I mean,
Mhm.
everything that was there is gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just, like, destroyed. It's like wreck
I
it's like
mean, I mean, there's not empty shell husks of buildings. There's no buildings.
my
Like, it's
gosh. It's just,
gone.
like, flattened.
It looks like a desert with rubble is what it looks like.
Wow.
And you can look at pictures of before that, and there's high rises, and there's people on the street and restaurants and all these things. And
Ooh,
that was all because of October 7th, which I still have questions about
I have a lot of questions about
that
it.
have never been answered. I think that Steve Bannon does too.
Yeah.
So, I think that he's gonna make that point, and I'm trying to see here if we've got any. This is but all that
Mhm.
said, there's still a lot that will come out. But what Trump did here, I think, was pretty amazing, and
Right.
and everybody's given credit to the fact that only Trump could have done it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's this is the Knesset. That's what it's called. It's Knesset. The Israeli
Okay.
parliament is called the Knesset.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. Don't think I've heard that before.
So the Knesset speaker, which would
Okay.
be, I think, comparable to like our Speaker of the House or whatever, Mike
Okay.
Johnson, such a bold leader. Um, this is the Speaker of the Knesset. Trump's sitting next to him. This is right after the hostages are being released.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about that
And
part.
And he says in this short little 30-second clip that Trump is not just another American president. So you're going to hear him break right in, but he's talking about Trump.
The
Okay.
American president, but as a giant of Jewish history, one for whom we must look back 2.5 millennia into the mists of time to find a parallel, Cyrus the Great. You, President Donald J. Trump, are a colossus who will be enshrined in the pantheon of history. Thousands of years from now, Mr. President, the Jewish people will remember you. We are a nation that remembers.
So
A giant, a
colossus.
colossus.
You know who he's comparing him to? Cyrus the Great.
Yeah,
Was
I thought
the
it was pretty low
Yeah, I
volume.
had it as high as I could get it, guys. Hopefully
They
it'll
backed up.
bump up a little.
So Cyrus the Great.
He was the one when the Jews God originally had his fill of the Jews, and he turned them over into captivity, and they
Okay.
were conquered by Babylon. And I mean, Jerusalem was plowed under, by and large. There was the walls were all gone, and
Mhm.
and anyway, they go into their exile, their first exile in Babylon.
Mhm.
And that's where Jeremiah is talking to him. And a lot of people know
Okay.
the Jeremiah quote where he says, "I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you," right?
Mhm.
Jeremiah
Yep.
29. Well, that's all he's writing to the Jews that are in Babylon that are exiled. Well, what
Okay.
happens is that Babylon pulls them out, but then Babylon's conquered by Persia.
Okay.
Persia then has a king called Cyrus the Great, and it was
Mhm.
Cyrus the Great that God put it into his heart to send as many of the Jews back who wanted to go back and to fund the rebuilding of Jerusalem and the temple. And so this
Wow.
is God bringing them back. So we're talking 2,500 years ago, 500, 600 years before the birth of Christ
Mhm.
is who he's comparing Donald Trump to.
That's an interesting reference he's making because like they know, like
Yes.
they all know their history and know what that represents. But thank you for sharing that. That's
So it's
wow,
a big deal.
big deal.
And that comparison has been made of Trump. He seems to be a world leader that God put in place to bring peace, and
Mhm.
Cyrus did kind of the same thing. Um, this is CNN talking about you know how excited they are. It's a short
Oh
little
my
clip
gosh.
about the applause for Trump in Israel.
And of course, endless applause for President Trump. Endless applause
love
for
him.
President Trump.
Endless.
And when I was there, I even saw people wearing "Make America Great Again" hats in that crowd over at Hostage Square.
So in Israel, when the hostages are coming back, they're cheering for Trump. They got "Make America Great."
Like why? Of course. Like why wouldn't they be applauding? And why wouldn't they be wearing that stuff? It's funny. What do their faces look like?
They're
when
just they can't even believe that they're subject. They have to say this.
My gosh,
Although
you'd
I
think,
will say that the media they gave Trump his due largely.
okay, good. I was going to say
Yeah, I
because
felt like
can't we all be on board with acknowledging that this is a miracle that he brought back these people? It's 2 years, correct?
yes.
Yeah. I mean, the living hostages are returned. I was holding my breath the whole time. They were all like, all the families are flying over there and all that. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. I just didn't want it to end badly. But
Yeah.
how incredible is that? Everyone should be happy about that, even if
Yeah.
you hate the orange bad man.
Right. I mean,
Like,
nobody else could have done it. I mean, they really couldn't have. And
incredible.
it's an accomplishment that is just beyond, yeah, it's so impressive. I don't even really know what to compare it to. They just compared it to something 2,500 years ago. I don't,
Right?
you know what I mean?
How many were there? How many of the
I
hostages
think
were
there was
there?
only like 20 left,
Oh gosh, is that
and they were
it?
all men, by the way.
Oh,
None of the women made it through. That
I'm
tells you
sure
everything.
not. Yeah.
Um,
Gee.
you know who
But
Scott
thank
Adams
goodness.
is?
Mhm.
Scott Adams was the creator of Dilbert. He's a best-selling author. Has cancer, actually.
Mhm.
Was as we've talked about, just about ready to off himself. Had the drugs to for assisted suicide because it's prostate cancer. I think really advanced, and it was really painful. And
Yeah.
then there finally one experimental treatment came up, and he took it, and he made a turnaround, and he's had a so it's been emotional for him in a lot of ways. But
Mhm.
he became a Trump supporter in 2016. Was canceled.
Yep.
Lost friends, lost everything. And he really this is him now. We can't listen to this whole clip because it's almost 6 minutes long.
Okay.
But this is him talking about what all this means that Trump has done, and I just
Okay.
thought that it's worth listening to at least some of it.
Here in the last couple of weeks.
Well, it was right after the peace with the hostages and
Mhm.
and everything. and
Okay.
Trump bringing peace to the Middle East.
Here's what I
Nice.
feel, and I hope that the rest of you feel it too. As I posted on X, cryptically, but I only wanted the people who understood to understand it. I don't want everybody to understand it. And my post on X was just this. This is why. That's it. This is why. What I mean, of course, for the few of you who don't know exactly what that means, is
get
that
it.
in 2016, when I decided I didn't know I was doing it at the time, but quickly I figured it out. When I decided I would throw away my entire social life to
Oh
back
my
Trump,
gosh. Poor guy.
and when I eventually threw away my entire career, which even before I was canceled, my licensing business and book sales went to almost nothing because I was
Oh
supporting
my
Trump.
gosh.
I sacrificed everything. I sacrificed my social life. I sacrificed my career. I sacrificed my reputation. I may have sacrificed my health. And I did that because I believed it was worth it. Today's the day.
He gets real emotional.
Yeah.
That's the
Wow.
play-by-play. I'm like the color guy. It might have been
Today's
a
the day.
tear.
Wow. That's
Because I haven't stopped it.
he's
still
okay.
going.
You're still on.
He's crying.
I'm really happy I lived long enough to see it.
It's emotional. It's moving.
It was worth it.
Wow.
It was worth it. Not just for this, but it was worth it. It was worth it to be right. It's worth it to be right. As you know, Trump doesn't become president without 100 things going the right way. I like to think I might have been one of the 100 things that went the right way so that he could get elected and we could get something done. Save the country, maybe save the world. But it wasn't free. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't easy.
It never is.
But every one
Right.
of you who's watching right now probably shared a little bit in that pain. Probably every one of you said, you know what? You're not going to tell me who to vote for. You know what? You're not going to manipulate me. You know what? I'm going to do what I think is right, and I'm going to follow this all the way. You all did that. All the MAGA supporters, you all took a personal and professional risk for the benefit of the country, and you knew that it was going to cost you dearly. You lost family members, lost your daughter, somebody says. Yeah. A lot of you lost family members. You lost
It's so
friends.
sad.
You lost jobs. Cost you money. And you were right. In the end, you were right. You bet the right way. So, even though you could say, Scott, this is more about Israel than it is about the United States, and it is. But it seems to be an emotional touch point that seems to touch everything. It seems to touch the world, including the United States, most heavily. And what it does is it just puts Trump in a whole different category where now he can do even more things that were impossible. Because people are going to look at him and say, okay, you did the impossible one time after another. What else can you do? And we're probably going to find out. Maybe it means we get better trade deals with China. Maybe.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
I let that go for a while because I just thought it was so. When I listened to it the first time, there were shorter versions of that out there, and I didn't put them on there because I thought, man, there's something about his entire that entire thing that he really encapsulates what a lot of people
Yeah.
sacrificed.
I'd love to believe that there are people out there who have been opposed to Trump who see these kinds of accomplishments and change their mind or at least pause for thought, but I just don't know. I just think it's we call it
Some.
the derangement. Yeah. I mean, I think slowly, but like in mass, I just don't think. I think that derangement and that the hatred has just gotten so just so deep and It
Yeah.
makes me sad. But I like what he's saying. It's definitely makes us, we can relate to it. And I mean, I didn't lose a ton of things, but I know I've lost acquaintances. I know there are people who care about me who wonder, like, the hell is she thinking?
They listen to this show.
Yeah,
They're
really.
like, wait a minute.
Hopefully they're not listening. Hopefully not.
Hopefully they are listening and learning.
Well, I don't think they would. Not those people. Anyway,
We
but
did all lose things. I mean,
yep,
I
I
certainly
know.
did. Lost family members.
Isn't it sad?
Yeah.
So unnecessary.
May have lost a sister over it. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
that
I mean,
happens.
we aren't cutting them out because of their
No.
differing views.
No, but they couldn't. I don't know. I really don't know why they just, maybe part of it was that the mainstream media, it was it was kind of positioned in such a way that it was, you either are a supporter of Hitler or you're a supporter
Right.
of peace and love, and you know what I
Right.
mean? And
Yeah,
so
there's just some stuff that defies logic, but you're right. They were just told so many times how
and they
awful
swallowed
everything.
all of it.
Yeah.
They didn't they never,
Yeah.
and their reward for that has been declining birth rates and turbo cancer and everything else from the jab. But
So
um
awful.
it's
Turbo cancer.
I mean, there's been a lot of things, just horrible things
Right.
that their government, that they believe, and their media has lied to them about. And so in that way, they're victims of believing a lie.
Hmm.
And so it's always been kind of hard for me to, I don't necessarily hold them, I'm not angry at them, I guess.
No, I'm not either.
I'm
It's just sad.
I just wish they could see. I wish
Mhm.
I wish they could get by their own biases
Yep.
and say, "Hey, Trump's done some amazing things.
Right.
God's really using Trump. Like
Yeah.
what was
You don't
accomplished in the Middle East is seismic. It's world
right.
changing.
You don't have to like his personality, but, like, acknowledge that he's doing good things.
It may be that the personality that you don't like was integral to doing some of the things he's done.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And God
Yep.
knew that. God set up Cyrus the Great. I expect God put Trump where he is, and I think he did it for a reason. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I found I like Scott Adams, of course, and I found that
Yeah, that's
I
good.
just found that really good, and
Mhm.
so I felt like
People can
that was
probably sorry.
go ahead.
I was just saying people can probably find that and hear the rest of it pretty easily, right? Just look
Hmm.
up Scott Ad he's on YouTube, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure he's on YouTube X, wherever you
Mhm.
want to find him. And
Oh, yeah, he is on X too.
I love Scott Adams. I think he's great. I think he's got great takes on things, and I am thankful to God that he has given him more time.
Mhm. Right.
I don't know how much more time, and neither does Scott, but you know, we
Yeah.
take what we can get. We never know how much time we have.
You
That's
do
the
not
thing.
know.
Like, you can get worked up about cancer and then you could die in a car accident tomorrow. I mean,
I know.
we don't know. We don't
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
So that's why I think that God's directions to us in Matthew 6, which is give your entire attention to what God's doing right now. Like, root yourself right here in the present, and
Mhm.
don't get worked up about what may or may not happen tomorrow, because God's going to help you deal with whatever hard things come up when the time comes.
Okay.
Well, you either do it or you don't. Like, that's the directive. That's what we're told to do.
Mhm.
Now, you can sit around and worry, and you can sit around in this, you can second guess all that, or you can root yourself in the present and you can say, you know, maybe I didn't like Trump. Maybe Trump's comes off like kind of an asshole or a narcissist or whatever. But the fact of the matter is that he cares about peace.
Yeah.
He really cares about peace, and he wants to make a difference.
Yeah. The peace thing is huge. The peace thing is bipartisan.
Yeah,
I
100%.
mean, yeah.
So,
So,
yeah, I
awesome.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah,
Here,
that's good.
I'm gonna while we're on Scott Adams, I got
Mhm.
another minute clip of him, and I want to hear what you think about this. He has a
Okay.
new book out called, I think it's Reframe something. Anyway,
Okay.
what he's trying to do is get people to kind of reframe mentally problems that they're running into.
Oh, interesting.
And this is a short little clip about reframing how you disagree with people, and I want to see what you think of it.
Okay.
You'll find this helpful in keeping your mental health stable. The usual frame if you're debating somebody is that one of you is right and the other one is wrong. And you usually think you're right and the other person's wrong, right? And then you got to fight. So what would be a good reframe instead of one person's right, one person's wrong? The answer is we're watching two different movies on one screen. That really helps. If you say to somebody, I'm right and you're wrong, well, now you have a fight. If you say we're watching two different movies on the same screen, then suddenly you're curious. What do you mean by that? Well, I'm looking at different information. If you and I were looking at the same information, we'd probably have a similar opinion. And that calms everybody down because you take it away from the two of you and who's right and who's wrong. And you basically blame you blame social media and the news for giving you two different versions of reality. So that.
What do you think?
I think that's brilliant.
You like that reframe?
I like the reframe. I like it too because if you think about if you put that scenario in an actual like into practice, like if you can visualize it, if you're debating with someone, you picture two people across from each other. If you picture people watching something, they are suddenly on the same side.
Yeah, true.
And they're both, yeah, like it turns you instead of against each other, you're both sitting like next to each other looking outward. Right. And I really like that concept because yeah, it takes
I thought that was really
down
good too.
The defenses. I like it too.
Because
That's
it's
cool.
true to a lot of extent. We are like
it's so true.
We're getting our information completely from two different scenarios, and so yeah, I thought that was good.
Yeah, that's wise.
So anyway, that's our Scott Adams fix.
Cool.
We've had our Steve Bannon and our Scott Adams fix for the day.
Scott.
Here's Barry. Barry's back in the news.
No, we're being tested right now.
Barack
I think people,
Obama.
and that includes young people.
Barry. Wait, are you back?
Understand? No, we're being tested right now. I think people, and that includes young
tested.
People, right? Understand there are consequences to the choices that we're making. If you decide not to vote, that's a consequence. If you are a Hispanic man and you're frustrated about inflation, and so you decided, you know what, all that rhetoric about Trump doesn't matter. I'm just mad about inflation. And now, your sons are being stopped in L.A. because they look Latino.
Maybe incarcerated for a few days.
And maybe, without the ability to call anybody, might just be locked up. Well, that's a test. There's some clarity that's coming about right now.
Yeah.
That I wish, it'd be great if we weren't tested this way, but you know what? It's we probably need to be shaken out of our complacency.
Okie dokie. There's Obama. That's a little wisdom.
Oh my gosh. Do you know? I know one thing after hearing that. Obama doesn't give a damn about some guy's Latino sons in, where do you say, L.A.?
L.A., yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
No.
Like, what a... Oh my gosh.
We're tested. We're being tested right now.
Yeah.
It's like if you're the personal chef, say to somebody kind of important, maybe a former president, and then you're in 3 feet of water and you're a great swimmer, but you got to be tested. And somehow you drown. We don't know how.
Oh my gosh. What was the Greyjoy mantra that they would, like, the family motto in Game of Thrones when they drowned?
I don't know. I
drown them. They would drown them and then they would come back to life. That's what he was doing. He was testing them the Greyjoy way. Oh my gosh.
Aren't you you listen to Obama after you hear Trump and it's in the context of all that Trump's accomplishing.
Right.
And then you hear Obama being like, you think
we're being tested.
It's just it's such a contrast. You know what I mean?
It's just feeble bullshit is what it sounds like to me.
Here's another contrast.
Okay.
This is Kamala.
Oh no.
Don't worry, there's not much of her, but she's going to tell you
She gonna say anything? That is a decent resume, but go ahead.
But there, well, some people have actually said I was the most qualified candidate ever to run for president.
Can you play that again? I like the some people say. Very nice, but go ahead.
I'm just speaking fact.
Yeah. She doubled down. That is a decent resume, but go ahead.
But there,
she just.
Well, some people have actually said I was the most qualified candidate ever to run for president.
Yeah.
I like the some people say. Very nice.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I don't.
I'm just speaking fact.
Yeah. That's hysterical, Todd. Where is that?
Oh, she was on some interview. You know, she's got a book out.
Yes.
Who's talking to her? I don't know who's talking. Nobody that I know.
That is so funny.
Her books are all kind of so it's a book tour kind of interview thing. You know what I mean? And who knew that people thought she was the most qualified person to ever run for president?
Do you know who's more qualified? Who has run for president? Who's more qualified than Kamala Harris?
Who?
Everyone else who has ever run for president.
I kind of thought that might be the answer. I kind of suspected.
What? That's hysterical. Oh, that's really, really funny. Thank you for sharing that.
That's Kamala. There she is.
Need to play that again at the end of the show.
This is. You know who is an actual Democrat with a head on their shoulders?
Who's that?
Somehow, after suffering a stroke.
Oh no.
John Fetterman, senator from the great state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Somehow has become the wisest incarnation.
It's interesting, isn't it?
I mean, listen to this. I don't think you're going to disagree with anything he says. It's shocking.
Okay.
I'm the only Democrat in my family. I grew up in a conservative part of Pennsylvania, and I grew up and I know and I love people that voted for President Trump, but they are not.
Can you believe he knows and loves people who voted for Trump. Like he's already so far off the reservation. Hold on, here he comes.
They're not Nazis. They're not trying to destroy the Constitution, those things.
What?
And that's part of another thing. I refuse to call people Nazis or fascists, or I would never compare anybody to Hitler and those things. And now that kinds of extreme rhetoric is going to continue. We're going to be more likely in resulting in extreme kind of outcomes and political violence and doing all these kinds of things like Charlie Kirk. For me, all I could say is like, let people grieve, give people the space. I'm not going to use that terrible thing and that Pasek assassination to make my argument and try to put out my views. It's like, my God, he's a father that had his neck blown out by a bullet. And now people have forgotten. President Trump was in my state, was shot in the head. And if that could you imagine where our nation would be if he was hit in the same way with Kirk? We really got to turn the temperature down. And we can agree to disagree on these kinds of things. But right now, shutting down the government, I just can't take it that.
That's Fetterman. I mean,
they're going to make him. They're going to make him turn his Democrat card in.
Well, there's already talk of the Democrats wanting to primary Fetterman because he's not sticking close enough to the reservation. I would not be shocked if.
What do you mean primary him? What does that mean?
That means go in and try to run somebody again, a Democrat against him to take his seat, so they have a more reliable leftist.
Well, it's funny to hear when you said like his family, like he's the only Democrat in his family. I'm thinking that's why you don't sound like a Democrat.
Well, I mean,
what makes him think he's a Democrat? He doesn't sound like one.
I think it'd be more workers, unions, things like that. I just was like, I mean, he's makes perfect sense. The guy, the stroke victim from Pennsylvania, makes more sense than the entire Democrat Party.
Maybe the stroke, kind of filtered out some of the.
I think you're going to see Fetterman switch parties.
I think so too. I'm sorry, by the sound of that.
The midterms, maybe, could be after. I think before Trump's out of office, Fetterman will switch parties.
Nice. Do it, man.
For all I know, some of the Republicans switch parties too.
Right? I know.
So I
It's
don't
like,
know. I'm not saying it'll
Yeah.
gain us anything, but he just doesn't. He doesn't fit in today's. I don't know what today's Democrat Party is, other
Yeah.
than a loosely connected, just group of victims with a bunch of different grievances that they're trying to pile together into some kind of a voting block. But
Right.
but he doesn't fit.
Not to sound shallow, but do you think if he switches parties, he'll start dressing better?
I think the hoodies and the shorts are baked in.
What is up with the hoodies?
Here's
Like,
another little
dude.
40-second clip of Fetterman. Same show. I think he's sitting next to O'Reilly. It was on News Nation, and they were doing something live from the Kennedy Center. And so there's a few people up there, but I don't think O'Reilly speaks in this one.
That's why shutting
O'Reilly,
the government is
Bill.
really what
Bill
the
O'Reilly?
Democratic
Oh,
Party
okay.
wants to do. And I follow country, then party. And it's the
He's
wrong thing
already
for
off the
country.
reservation.
In a period of chaos, I refuse to vote to shut our government down. I absolutely would love to have.
So he's not voting to shut the government. The government is shut down right now.
Yeah.
I know I have to remind people
we
that
should.
because nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And my son-in-law in the military got paid last week.
Yeah. Trump even figured out a way to use to take unused funds from somewhere and keep the military paid.
I think from the DOD.
Yeah. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like,
I thank God.
Fetterman, I mean, that comment makes him sound like a nationalist.
There's more.
I would love to have a conversation about extending the tax credits for healthcare. Absolutely. But I would remind everybody, too, this was designed by the Democratic Party to expire at the end of the year. This is not something taken from by the Republicans. They were designed to expire.
That is something you don't hear much, do you? That the Democrats set it up to expire at the end of the year.
And what is it? The like the subsidies for health insurance or
for illegal alien? Well, non-citizens primarily, whether or not they're illegal or not illegal. And I'm not even entirely sure. I'm unclear. I think I'm unclear on what the Democrats want because all the Democrats don't know what they want. They just want chaos and they just don't want whatever Trump wants.
Right. Well, it's not clear. It's not clear what they want because they misrepresent what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're saying is currently there are non-citizens who have health care
provided by the government.
Provided by the government.
All kinds of things provided by the government here, but yeah.
And so when the Democrats are out there saying Trump wants to take that away, they're making it sound like he's going to chop it off like midstream, whereas actually these policies are set to expire.
They were set to expire by the Democrats. And Trump and the Republicans just aren't re-upping them.
Got it.
Imagine.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
How about, did you hear that that ICE arrested an illegal immigrant who was an active Illinois police officer?
I did hear that.
Yeah.
How does someone become a police officer who isn't even a citizen?
I don't know. This is Lauren Ingram.
Let's do breaking news now. Immigration Customs and Enforcement has just revealed in the last short time a police officer working in Illinois is an illegal immigrant. Radule Budjevich works for the Hanover Police
They
Department.
couldn't figure it out from his name.
Academy in August, but he has been living in the U.S. illegally for a decade after his tourist visa expired in 2015. His illegal status was discovered as part of Operation Midway. So we wanted to bring you.
That wasn't
oh my gosh.
Laura Ingram. I don't know who that was. Somebody on
thank
Fox.
You.
Some Fox
I was gonna
chick.
Say, I
don't watch Fox, but
yeah, the voice sounds familiar, but it didn't sound like. So, and she would have, I think Laura Ingram would have said illegal alien.
Yeah. So
now, doesn't a police department do a background check on someone trying to become a police officer? That just makes no sense.
Well, you heard that, and I think, did we talk about this on the last show? I don't know if we did, but that there was the chief, well, what would you call him? The superintendent, maybe, of the Des Moines public school system in Iowa was found to be an illegal alien.
I don't think we talked about
within
that.
the last
I don't think I've heard
the last 3 weeks that happened. It was a pretty major story.
A superintendent in Iowa. Oh my God.
Well, I'm in charge of the entire Des Moines public school system, essentially.
Wow.
And
this is like stunning.
I don't know. They just thought, he looks good. He's black. And that I think is what happened.
So
Therefore,
crazy.
they don't look into people like.
Yeah.
So Tom Homan
Okay.
is finding these people.
Oh boy. Okay.
Right? I
Yep.
mean, that's what ICE is doing. That's what we elected Trump to do, and that's absolutely what Trump is doing.
Mhm.
So, and for good reason. This is my only Bill Maher clip of the day.
Okay.
I don't have a ton of Bill Maher today, but this is just a 43-second clip of him talking about Sweden, and it's like,
interesting.
A drug turf war using hand grenades. Calling it racist doesn't solve the problem.
Hold on.
Sweden opened its borders to over 1.5 million immigrants since 2010. Now 20% of its citizens are foreign-born, and its education system is tanking, and it has Europe's highest rate of gangland killings. And one result is that the far-right parties are in the government now there for the first time. To which liberals say blaming immigrants for the rising crime rate is racist. Yeah, but is it true? Of course it's true. It's not a coincidence. The quality of life went down after the Somali gangs started a drug turf war using hand grenades. Calling it racist doesn't solve the problem. It hands future elections to someone who will solve the problem.
So Sweden, well, like all of Europe, has a big migration problem. 20% of their country is now foreign-born. Now we have been conditioned, at least in this country, probably in the West by and large, to believe that diversity is our strength. The more people we can bring in who don't look like us, who don't hold any worldview that looks like us, who don't believe like us, and who don't live like us, the better our country is going to be. That's what we were sold. That has been, I mean, it's across the board, and it's what we were sold.
I know.
And it was a lie. It's always been a lie. There's a reason tribalism exists all through human history. It's because of this.
I was going to say, I'm going to disagree with a little bit of it. Like, I can defend a little bit of what you just said, but I think the way that it has gone, and if you embrace all of those factors that you just said, like, it doesn't matter in the U.S. that we all look different.
Right.
That's how we've always been.
Yeah.
It's just
because I wouldn't say that.
Well, I mean, because of
You
immigration.
Look at TV ads, look at TV shows from the 50s.
Okay.
And tell me that they look like TV shows and ads from today.
Okay, no, you're correct. But what I mean is back, during our era of accepted and acceptable immigration.
Right.
Like, we had Italians, like we had Europeans.
Yes.
And so we were just kind of, that's baked into us that we're the melting pot, and that's wonderful.
But America was a country started by Europeans.
Yes, right. I just wanted to say too, we've talked about this during the Olympics. I absolutely love the opening ceremonies of the Olympics. And I love pointing out to people, like, look at how we look compared to everyone else. Every other country they go by, they have like common features and they all look the same, roughly.
Yeah.
Except for us. And it actually is the coolest thing because of our history. I think it's kind of neat.
But the coolest thing is also destroying us.
Well, okay, but that's what I was going to say.
That's the problem.
No, the problem is embracing all of those things. What you said, we can't embrace people. It doesn't make us stronger to welcome people who don't have the same worldview, who don't want to live like us. If you come here and you want to live like us because you believe in, like, the American dream, hey, I'll take you out to lunch and I want to hear all about your story. But no, these people who want to invade and gripe about how they're discriminated against because they're so different. It's like, well, why are you being so different? Like, come here. You can still be who you are, but you can't change how we live. So
assimilation is the biggest thing.
It is.
And really, to be part of that, though, you can only expect assimilation if you keep numbers to a certain.
Yes.
They have to remain. You need a dominant civilization, a dominant Western European culture.
Yep.
Into which, uniquely Americanized, I understand that, into which, if you come here from Latin America, if you come here from Russia, if you come here from Somalia, wherever you want to come from, right, you got to want to be an American.
Yeah.
But the
It
problem
should
that
be why
we've
you want to be
done,
here.
what we've done is we've so diluted our Western European American culture
Yes.
that there isn't anything left to assimilate to, because our media and our government and our public schools and our colleges have all convinced us that the value is in the fact that they don't assimilate, the fact that they're different. That's where the value is.
Yeah.
No, the culture, I don't care what color people are.
Right, right.
You need to learn to speak English.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to be perfect English. I don't care. You got to want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And listen, I want all the amazing things from your country that you bring. Like, I want the awesome food. I want the different cultural take on some things. But all of that has to be buffered by a large, probably 90+% American culture.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I understand. I agree
I
with that.
love Little Italy in Chicago
Oh,
or
yeah.
Chinatown or wherever these places are, as long as they don't become places where people go to not assimilate, to not speak English, to have their own little piece of China in America. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes. And I think that there's a way to balance that. And if someone if there's a family, like if there's a family that
You're a
is here.
problem. My daughter, who
I know
always
you are.
interrupts my podcast, is doing it again.
She's like,
Lauren Allen, famous singer-songwriter.
woohoo.
All right, let's pause. Let me hear what she has to say, which is probably to complain about me not putting up a TV for her or something.
A shelf.
We'll be right back, guys.
All right. Oh.
Sorry, Carrie. See,
You're all right.
a son-in-law wouldn't constantly try to ruin my show. You need a daughter for that.
It's okay. It's worth it. It's worth it. Okay. We were talking assimilation. This
Go
is not
ahead.
important. It's not important, but I was just going to say, I'm okay for to make allowances for like older, because you were talking about like little what'd you call it, Little China?
Yeah, all the little places.
Chinatown. That's what I was like. That doesn't sound
Chinatown,
right.
Little
Chinatown.
Italy.
So, for instance, if a family is here and they learn English, but they have like older parents who maybe like it's hard.
Okay,
It's hard when
sure.
I'm fine with that. But I know what you're saying. Like, you don't want it just to become a pocket of China here where
We
they're
want
not.
Americans. We want Chinese Americans.
Yeah, 100%.
Mostly Americans, but if you want to carry your Chinese culture, whatever,
We're totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring your food. It's amazing. Maybe leave the communism. Whatever.
Yeah,
You
definitely
know what I
leave
mean?
the communism. I mean, you should want to leave
Right.
if you're here, it's because you wanted to leave the communism.
I personally think that we should, in addition to, we have to get rid. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't have any clips of this. I didn't get this set up, but this last week she came out and kind of went off the mega Republican reservation and was talking about how she owns she's the Marjorie Taylor Greene is representative, U.S. representative from Georgia.
Yeah,
Big
what's your
mega
opinion of her?
I've been fine with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't pay tons of attention to her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But usually she
Crazy.
has seemed relatively solid on the MAGA side. But this time she came out and said, you know what, she owns a construction company and we can't just be rounding up everybody just because they're an illegal. That's not practical. She lives in reality.
Okay.
I work in construction. I happen to disagree with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Okay.
I just don't. I think round them all up. Every single one of them. There's no such thing as innocent little illegal aliens working at Home Depot.
Okay.
That said, and just as a basis, we got to round them up and get rid of them.
Okay.
And it isn't even because they're going to be terrorists or they're going to be this, but they've driven up the cost of everything. Because you can't import 20 million people and not increase the price of rents, increase the price of homes. Well, you especially can't import them and then give them money to buy homes and then not expect the cost of homes to go up, which is exactly what's happened.
Sure, but if you have employees who are making less I mean, it would be like, raising minimum wage that would drive up prices. So how is
Well, it's
having
not
a
that.
lower cost employee
The
base,
problem is
like,
the employee themselves. They got to have a place to live.
Okay.
And they got to buy food. And they
Okay.
got to do. So everything is supply and demand. And when you radically increase the supply of something, in this case, people trying to live here, it's going to impact all those things. And that to me is just a macro thing. I think we need to bring down the cost of housing, rents, houses, everything. And I don't think it's all inflation based. I think a lot of it is driven by the way we've brought in illegals and handed them everything. So if you're an American citizen, you're on disability, you might get $1,300 a month from Social Security. But if you're an illegal alien, well, you get $4,500 a month.
I would like $4,500.
Right, but you don't get that because you're an American citizen.
Right.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And so because we have gotten to a place of insanity,
Yeah.
desperate times call for desperate measures.
Okay.
We don't have time for Marjorie Taylor Greene living in reality. Okay, that's all I think. Now, she can do with that what she wants.
Yeah.
But we're right on the doorstep to be in Sweden. And so we have to deal with it. Period.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that in a better time that we can't bring people over. I'm all for legal immigration. I'm all for bringing people over, but you got to have control of it.
Right. We have enough. I mean, even when we get rid of the bulk of these, we're going to have plenty still here.
I wouldn't even have a problem if they could come up with something where people could pay some kind of a penalty, stay, and then, but see, to me, I would say I would not ever let them vote and maybe not let their kids vote. And that bothers people because, we live in America. You should be able to vote. Well, yeah, when you come here legally, you can. I'm not talking about legal immigrants.
Yeah.
You pay a price when you do things the wrong way. And one of those prices is you don't get to live off the government. We shouldn't be handing them money. Any money at all should be going to, if you want to help people out. I know lots of American citizens right now, single moms working as hard as they can. The car goes out, they can't afford it. They have to go sick, they can't afford it. They can't afford food. They're trying to decide what to do. That shouldn't be the case when you're handing illegal immigrants $4,000, $5,000, $8,000 a month, and they're eating our cats and dogs. In spite of the money, we can't give them enough to stop them from eating our cats and dogs.
Now, Todd, we don't know if that was actually true. That's hilarious.
This is Tom Homan talking about the personal cost to him.
Now, wait, were you gonna play Marjorie Taylor Greene? Or
No,
did you
I don't
not
have a clip of her.
Oh, okay. We were just talking about it. Okay.
I don't have a clip of her. This is Tom Homan.
You've been hearing about some liberals.
ICE director.
California is one of those states where they want to help out the people who are left behind as you take the violent criminals off the streets. What do the families of these threatened officers and ICE agents need?
They need protection, and they need to help the federal government protect not only the agents, but their spouses. Look, Harris, I have not lived with my wife since late March because of death threats against me. And now there are reporters out there trying to find the location of my family. There are reporters trying to identify who my sons are. I mean, this has gone beyond the pale. It's insulting. And, God bless the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol. Before I go to bed every night, I say a prayer for every person out there wearing that shield that they go home safe to their families. And every illegal alien we arrest goes home safe to their families. I don't want to see any bloodshed.
Pretty good. I mean, not good in what's happening to them.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
What he's saying is good, but wow, that's awful.
You have the governor of Illinois actively working against the federal government and ICE. Now, how is what the governor of Illinois does when he's actively working against ICE, when they're passing laws against enforcing federal immigration policy? How is that any different than South Carolina taking over Fort Sumter in 1864 or whatever it was? How is it any different?
Okay.
That's what precipitated the Civil War.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Is they said, you can't tell us what to do. Federal law doesn't apply down here, states' rights. Gotcha. And then they took over the American military fort in South Carolina.
Yikes. Okay.
And then we got the Civil War. Now, some
Wow.
people think we're heading towards civil war. I don't know. What do you?
I hope we're not. I hope we're not.
I don't know. I'm not saying I'm one of those people necessarily.
Yeah, no, I really hope we're not. I think I wish we would go to war with our media. The fact that reporters are trying to track down Tom Homan's family's location, obviously with the intent to share it with people who have, dangerous plans.
Yeah.
I think that's criminal. Yeah. I mean, that's beyond criminal. That's just like inhumane, in my opinion.
But that's the Democrat Party.
I know, but
I mean, that's
really disturbing. And you say that's the Democratic Party. That's not everyone.
Well, I'm not saying everybody, but I mean, that's their position. That's the position of the party. Everybody who matters.
Resist. Would you ever see stickers? I still see them. Stickers that say resist. It's like, oh my gosh, you guys.
I mean, what does that even, what is I've heard this is, do you know, I think you do because I've sent you some clips of them and you're not a big fan of Nick Fuentes. See,
I didn't like the last one.
I'm exposed to Nick Fuentes because my daughters have started listening to him. He's by far a rising voice of the young on the right. And people can like that or not like that. He's been painted as somewhat of a Hitler fan. I don't think. I haven't found him to be that. I don't listen to him a ton. I catch clips. I don't actually. I shouldn't say I've never listened to a show. I've been in with my daughter when she's played him for me. And so to me, he's an important person because I think he's got a lot of sway right now with with Gen Z people.
And I want to clarify, and I don't know what clip you're about to play, so the audience, take this with a grain of salt. What I've heard of it, the very, very little I've heard of him so far, it's really the delivery that I don't like.
It's just like Trump.
Well, not even like Trump, kind of like Candace Owens. Like, I love what Candace Owens stands for.
Yeah, by and large.
And I believe and agree with much of it, but her delivery is not going to make a positive impact on the issues.
Well, this is
just going to fire up the people we agree with and piss off the people who disagree.
And that is a very fair criticism, I think. Because you're right, we do have to strike some kind of a balance between we want to win people over.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just repel them, right?
Yeah.
This is Nick Fuentes. He was on Alex Jones' InfoWars. So you got both Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes. We're all the way down the rabbit hole.
A highly caffeinated interaction. I can't wait to hear it. Okay.
Talking about what they believe is coming for civil war. And I'm not necessarily saying I want to see what you think of it.
Okay.
For me, I was always skeptical that there would be any kind of civil conflict because you would say, well, what are the sides? It doesn't seem that there's organized violence on two distinct sides. It doesn't seem like there's a contest of authority between two sides because both sides respected the authority of the civilian leader of the military, of law enforcement, the supremacy of the federal government, et cetera. But what you have setting up right now is really a constitutional clash where the federal government is coming in with National Guard. They're coming in with ICE. They're coming in with federal law enforcement, trying to enforce federal laws. The state government and even the city government, city of Chicago, are saying, we're going to arrest the federal law enforcement. We're not going to obey the federal laws. We have authority actually over the National Guard in our state. We ultimately have the authority. And you understand that there's large percentages of the population on either side that are going to go with Trump or go with Pritzker. And it comes down on some level to the loyalty of the military. And that's kind of like a scary, unprecedented situation.
Let me back you up. That's another. All these clips, CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post. It's time for the military to turn on Trump, which is a coup. Well, if he was like putting us in concentration camps and, cutting the energy off, he's following the law that we elected him for. So they're putting that talking point out.
Yes, and it's very clear that is going to become a real clash where, let's say they deploy 200 National Guardsmen from Illinois to Texas. What if you have people that start to refuse? What if you have people in Chicago police that start to refuse the orders of the police captain? It's really coming down to, in a way that I've never seen in my lifetime,
a civil war where both sides pick a side.
Yes.
Inside families. And because the police in Chicago on the scanner, they're like, we're not going to help people that are being attacked. Really? And so I think you're going to see mainly military and police side with the good side.
I hope so. And I think that in Chicago, you will see that. But it's going to come down to the men with guns, the men with the guns and the badges. Who are they personally loyal to? What is their interpretation? Who do they believe actually wields the real authority? That's the definition of a constitutional crisis. It's a definition of a political crisis. I don't think people realize the peril we're in, least of all the Democrats who keep pushing.
What do you think?
Okay, so that's really good. I have a
Did
question.
Nick sound a little more sane for you?
Yeah, he did. He did. He absolutely did. The clip that I heard the other day, he was like ranting about.
I got that clip. It's a fun clip.
That was
The music in the background.
A little disturbing. I was like, who the hell is this guy? I'm like, oh no, this is the guy Todd mentioned. No, my question is, who did Alex say? Calls upon the military to turn on Trump? Who was it?
He said that there have been calls. He didn't specifically say,
okay.
but I mean, the Democrats, the media have.
Okay,
Like
that was
that's out
something
there.
that jumped out to me because I'm thinking, no, like I think his point is valid that
I mean, the
Trump is
governor of
following-
Illinois, heavy, we call him because he's the size of like 4 people.
A big
He's
guy.
probably the size of 10 popes. How impressive is that? Governor Heavy Pritzker
No.
is the size of 10 popes. Which Pope Leo is from Chicago, so that's a little apropos.
Okay. Oh my gosh. No. This is terrible. Okay. What was I asking? I was asking.
See, now my own daughter is exploring the mysteries of the Church of Rome, so I get the opportunity for even more Pope jokes.
More Pope jokes. Oh, help. I lost my train of thought, but I was just going to say, I think
he would be calling on the National Guard to disobey Trump. In other words, don't take orders from Trump.
Right.
And that would be one.
But what I was going to say is he makes a great point that Trump is following the law.
Right.
Trump's following the law. And I think that I just don't think that law enforcement.
Which is what Abraham Lincoln would have said.
Well, but I think the vast majority, I know, but the vast majority of law enforcement, the vast majority of the military believe that and follow that. And
I agree.
You could have a few dissenters, but I just don't.
You know what happened that he referenced?
Even in Chicago. I think Chicago, they're probably like, this place is dangerous. Let's clean it up.
A lot of people in Chicago feel that way. Chicago residents feel that way.
Right. But don't you think the law enforcement in Chicago, they're on the front lines of this crazy, dangerous.
Let me tell you what happened in Chicago that he referenced. ICE agents were in Chicago.
Okay.
And they were surrounded by a mob of people, or I don't know if it was at an ICE facility, whatever it was. They called in for some backup. I don't think they were at a facility. I think they were out in the streets. And they were meeting resistance. They called for backup from Chicago
like
PD.
Regular citizens? Resistance?
Yeah, Antifa type of thing.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Oh, unhinged,
somewhat organized. Yeah. And they called in for backup, and the Chicago PD person in charge, dispatch, whatever it is, the sergeant in charge said, we're not responding to any calls from any federal agents. And they just and called back. No cars were able to respond and just left ICE hanging.
Dang.
That's what he's talking about.
That's awful. So what happened? I hope that person was fired.
I think they ended up getting out of it, but no, that I know of, because the mayor, the governor, the mayor of Chicago, the governor of Illinois, all of them are on board with they would have said it themselves. I mean, I'm sure it came down from on top. You know what I mean? And it was obeyed by these Chicago, by the units. They weren't like, screw you, we're going to go in and help these people anyway. See, that's the problem you get with both law enforcement and the military. Is I agree that by and large, that their loyalties lie to America. Their loyalties lie where we would want them to lie.
And the rule
problem is that they have been, it's so ingrained into them to follow orders, because remember A Few Good Men, if you don't follow orders, people die.
Right? Yes.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. Right.
Yeah.
So that's the other problem you run into, is they tend to follow orders. True. Like if Chicago PD breaks orders, that's a big deal. Now you got a civil war in the Chicago Police Department.
Right, and it just takes the right person to give an order that is against what is the bigger picture for it to trickle down and then have an impact. So, did the National Guard, did they go to Chicago yet?
Yes.
The National Guard did?
Well,
They were,
it's a little confusing.
I thought they were maybe next.
They went up and it was from Texas. So they sent 200
or
300, whatever it was, members of the Texas National Guard to Chicago to assist ICE agents in rounding up and protecting.
Okay.
It comes down more to protecting ICE agents, federal agents from federal facilities.
Okay.
And you've had a tin pot little district judge over there say that ICE can't, that the National Guard doesn't need to listen to President Trump. And you've had these little district court judges decide that they're the commander in chief according to the Constitution. It's all insane. And mind you, the Supreme Court has already ruled on this. They've already said, no, he's the commander in chief. What you say doesn't matter. And that doesn't stop these district court judges. I'm not sure anything's going to stop them because it's up to Congress to police them. And the most ineffective, spineless, worthless organization in the world might be the United States Congress.
Yeah. And they're on vacation right now.
Yeah, they're not.
Paid vacation.
They're done. They've done all they can do for us, guys.
Yeah.
There's no help coming from Congress. There might be
Terrible.
like 10 or 12 true MAGA representatives in Congress. By and large, they're a bunch of Ryan. It's all uniparty BS. You know what I mean? And they all think they can wait out Trump. They don't say that. They try to get on board to some extent because, that's the way the wind's blowing.
Right.
That's how they see it. They don't see this as a lasting thing.
Yeah, they fake it like just enough.
Yeah.
My boss always, whenever we get on the subject of politics, he brings up remember the Far Side?
Yes,
The
I
Far Side
love the Far Side. They
comic?
were great.
Yeah, he loves the Far Side too. But he says, it shows like politics. It's like a political thing, and it shows sheep walking into like a Democrat door and a Republican door, but it's just wolves all in the same room on the other side. It's all the same.
I think they were onto something there.
I think so too.
This is, I'm going to do a little more Nick. I have a few clips of Nick. This is talking about Trump and the Israel deal. Well, I can't remember if this is the Israel deal or not, but he's talking about Trump.
Okay.
And he wasn't necessarily a huge Trump supporter. The whole thing is you get out into the fringes, it gets a little bit confused.
Okay.
I guess this is the best way to put it.
Gotcha.
President Trump and his former aide parted bitterly toward the end of the first term. The president greeted the news with grim satisfaction. He said, he's a bad guy. That's the way it goes.
He's talking about John Bolton. Do you hear that John Bolton, the stash, was indicted in the last week or two? Yes. In fact, they raided his house. He's under federal indictment for wrongful handling or improper handling of classified documents, of all things.
Oh my goodness.
And supposedly this is something of from the people I've heard talk about it, they think it's kind of an open and shut case. Either you did it or you didn't. You know what I mean? So the stash may be in for some problem. But anyway.
Did he have documents in his garage or?
All over, marked classified. And he actually had in his house like a skiff, these secured, I can't remember what it stands for, but a skiff is where you go into, like in the FBI, there'll be like the skiff and nothing gets out, no communications go in, and you can view classified documents, but you got to leave them there.
Okay.
Right? That's what a skiff is. So he had like a mini skiff in his house where he was authorized to have things.
Oh, okay.
But like Joe, they're just scattered all over the place.
Like we didn't have company coming over, so they're still out.
So that is what Nick is talking about here. He's talking about his former Trump aide, because John Bolton, the stash, was Trump's national security advisor in his first term for a little while. Not a year.
I love that his indictment based on the fact that he was national security advisor. The irony. Okay.
President Trump and his former aide parted bitterly toward the end of the first term. The president greeted the news with grim satisfaction. He said, he's a bad guy. That's the way it goes. What I really liked about Trump's reaction is the indictment came out and the press asked the president, what do you think about John Bolton being indicted? And Trump literally did the line. He goes, I didn't hear about that. You're telling me for the first time. The absolute madman. We have to give the credit where it's due. That was kind of a wink and a nod. Like, that was awesome. Trump is rounding up and arresting all of his enemies, and they say, what do you think about your latest enemy who's being thrown in prison, house raided? And Trump does the meme. He goes, I didn't know that. You're telling me for the first time. It's like, masterful. We have to admit, I said this the other night, we have to admit, Trump is still kind of awesome. And look, the Trump administration is totally controlled by Israel. That's why they're not releasing the Epstein files. That's why they're going to war with Iran. It's why Trump is like glad that Miriam Adelson is more loyal to Israel than America. Wants Netanyahu to be pardoned. Like, I know all the relevant facts, but Trump is still really funny. And I hate to say that. I don't want to say that, but it's true. Trump is still really funny. And even if he's not red-pilled, he's definitely still based. And these types of moments, these kinds of moments, they're becoming more infrequent, but he still has them. Seems like he's declining cognitively. He's shriveling
I don't
up.
agree with him
He's
on
not
that.
looking so hot,
I disagree too.
He's slowing down. But excuse me, every once in a while, he reminds you that's why he's the GOAT. Every now and again, like I said, few and far between and much more rare nowadays, but every now and again, he reminds you that's why he's the GOAT.
I'm not on board with Nick on some of, he goes far afield for me, but I love that see, this is what I love about the right, is that they have retained their sense of humor. That's what I always bitch about with the Democrats. They don't have any sense of humor.
They don't.
They can't look at Trump and be like, he's hilarious. Of course, people love him. That's why. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's just all like offense. Like, they're just offended by everything.
So
yeah, it's neat that he can appreciate. Obviously, he doesn't have full confidence in him, but he can still appreciate some qualities.
And that's where he gets into the Israel stuff. And like I said, it's, to me, a bit of a monolithic, myopic kind of view of Israel. And listen, I am not pro-Israel by and large. I think that the formation of the state of Israel was a mistake. Now, listen, we're talking 100 years ago, more than, whatever, 75 years ago. This is what life is, and I'm fine with it. I think that you could argue that the creation of a lot of countries maybe wasn't the best. But it seems to me like all Israel did was turn the Middle East into just a tinderbox ready to explode all over the place.
Right, like a religious one, which is, it's
now,
tough.
I believe maybe Trump has finally diffused that.
I hope so.
If I were able to go back to the early 1900s and whatever, I'd be like, what are we doing here? This is crazy. But that said, Israel's over there. They're a country. They're fine. They're entitled to their defense. They're entitled to all the things countries are entitled to. I don't have any problem with Israel as long as they don't get preferential treatment at the hands of the U.S. That's all. So that's all. That's where I am on the thing. And I don't think Jews control the world. In fact, I actually think that a lot of what this is all coming out now, but I think that what people are worried about with the Israel stuff is already in the process of breaking up and correcting itself.
Right. Like, we've maybe been unaware of it. It
wasn't talked about enough.
As it's,
but the very fact that it's coming out, that it's becoming
you weren't allowed
acceptable.
To challenge it.
Right.
You weren't allowed to challenge it.
Remember we talked about the Young Turks?
Yes. The duo.
Yeah. You had Sank, and I can't remember his last name. And then you have Anna Kasparian, right?
Yeah.
Blonde girl. They both do the Young Turks. Well, here she is going off on Israel. I mean, just going off. And to me, the fact that this is out there is another sign that what everybody's worried about is already in the process of being corrected. Do you know what I mean? I think they have some legitimate. I was the one who wrote "What's a Dead Jew Worth" after October 7th.
Yeah,
because I thought it was an inside job by the Israelis, and I still do. Just like I think 9/11 in Oklahoma City were an inside job by the American government. You may not believe that. I know we've been conditioned not to think that.
Right.
That's my opinion. So I don't think Israel's any worse than America. I just think it's all the same kind of pit, like you said, like the Far Side thing. It's all the same.
Yeah.
But Trump's not the same. I
No,
really don't believe that. So I got
I
my
agree
Trump
with you.
shirt on today. And so I like that little clip. But here's Anna Kasparian just going off on Israel. Tell me if you think this is over the top by her.
Okay.
Maybe. Wait a minute. You might not get to hear it. Where'd she go?
Okay.
She was right there.
Okay.
Oh, no, she's not playing. Let's try this. Well, maybe God doesn't want us to listen to Anna.
Oh, no. Okay.
I don't know
Goes
why.
off. Did
It's
it
the
disappear
only
or is it
clip.
playing?
No, it's here. It's just not. It's for some reason not playing. Let me try another clip and see.
Okay.
If we take
See, Nick's there. Here's another clip. This is Peter Thiel.
They both.
See, he's there. Why is Anna not there?
I don't know. Your computer is sexist.
Anyway, we're not listening to Anna today. Never mind.
Okay.
We're almost
Sorry.
anyway. We're getting, that's okay. We're getting to the end. But I do think that the Israel thing, I think people were upset because Trump said, you probably didn't hear this, and I don't have the clip. I don't have the clip of him saying this.
Yeah.
But he talked about when he was given this speech at Israel, you know, the hostages are released, the whole thing.
Yes.
The big peace thing. He said, you know why one of the reasons I did this is because Sheldon Adelson is the casino magnate billionaire in Vegas.
Okay.
His wife, I think he died, and his wife is Mary Madelson. Both
Okay.
big Jews, big supporters of Israel. And he said, Mary Madelson was in my office almost every day complaining about this.
Oh my gosh.
He said, I don't know if she loves America or Israel more. And people took that as, see, America, the government's in the hip pocket of Israel. But to me, I heard that and I thought, Trump's exposing something that's going on with one of his biggest supporters. He's exposing them for being Israel first. That to me is a good sign.
In kind of a humorous way.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is he's artful that way.
And I think it's all part of the exposure. And if you look at what Trump did, if you look at what he did, bringing the Arab nations together, and what I think is going to happen in Gaza, that Trump is not Israel first. He's just not. I think Nick's wrong on that.
Like we can be allies and not be Israel first.
Yes.
So, okay, can I ask a question now off topic?
Yes.
Geographically. Can we talk about Trump with the Ukraine? Like, okay, Trump, you know, the peace deal, we're so excited about it. What's going on with Ukraine and Russia? Why are we giving them, why are we authorizing planes and equipment and support for Ukraine right now? I thought that he was going to go in. I mean, you and I both were like, what's going on? So do we have any new info, I guess, is what I'm asking you. I'm not trying to put you on the defensive.
I don't think there's much new info, which is why I hadn't brought any of it today. In my opinion, my humble opinion. Well, I don't know if it's humble. But anyway,
in your wild
opinion, I believe that this is all Trump is moving towards it. He's found Putin and NATO and the Europeans and the whole thing more of a snake pit than I think he expected. I think he thought he could. He thought there was a deal ready to be made faster than there has ended up being.
Okay.
And I think that he's using the entire thing. I think this thing of ending the thing in Gaza. And I just think you're going to see Trump work this, and I think he's working toward that one too. Now that said, he's got a lot on the home front to deal with, but I think, and Venezuela's the other one. Have you heard much about the Venezuela stuff?
I've not.
Okay, we right now have a lot of our Navy right off the coast of Venezuela.
Okay,
Maduro, who is the dictator of Venezuela, right? You had Hugo Chavez forever, and then Maduro was his kind of right-hand henchman, and Chavez died, and then Maduro took over, and they're full-on communist. I mean, they nationalized, I think it's Chevron that's down there, big oil company.
Oh, okay.
They nationalized Chevron, and they're an American company, and they took over just like the Soviet Union would.
Okay.
Years ago.
Yeah.
I'm saying. But my point is that you've had this in Venezuela, and Trump has, and the cartels are big down there, drug trafficking, everything, and Trump has just decided to shut it down. Well, they've been targeting, or basically taking out boats that they say are cartel drug running boats, and they'll be taken off, and they just bomb them, and they put videos out of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Trump has said that Maduro has offered America about everything he can to try to stay in power. He's offered, you can have control of the oil fields back. You can have this. And Trump says it's because they know. In fact, I got to believe I have that clip. I need to find that clip.
Okay.
Where Trump says he knows not to F around with America. I don't know how could I not have that clip, because I know it's in here somewhere.
Okay.
But essentially, we're getting ready, I think, to take over Venezuela. I think you're going to find.
And what do you mean take over?
When I say take over, we're going to go in and depose Maduro and give it back to the people of Venezuela.
Oh
is
my
what
gosh.
I think is going to happen.
That's pretty crazy.
I know it's pretty wild, but I think that's the route that we're on. Is it's what it seems like to me, because I can't find the clip right now, but Trump basically said, maybe it's this one. Let me see if it's, because it's better coming from. No, that's not it. He's talking about the government shutdown. So I don't know where that one is, but yeah, essentially Trump said he knows not to F around with America. And Trump has decided that he's going to end the cartel. And listen, I have long thought, if we're going to be out there trying to police anything, we need to police our own hemisphere. We need to get rid of drug cartels. We need to not have a narco state on our border in Mexico.
Right.
You know what I mean? We need to not have a narco state in Colombia, in Venezuela, wherever. We need, if we want to exert American influence and and expend American blood and treasure in the service of democracy, do it in our own hemisphere, where there are actually threats, where they're flooding our borders, where we're losing 100,000, Americans a year to drug overdoses from fentanyl and every other thing.
Yeah.
And that's a problem with Canada and letting
yes,
China
I was
in.
gonna
It's
say.
a problem with Mexico. It's an across the board.
North and south of here.
Trump's dealing with that. I think that's good. So I think Trump is kind of he's just letting Putin fester a little bit. And I think he is working toward the leverage to get that one ended too. And I expect you'll see that by the end of the year. It's a big prediction, but I think that winter is going to be a time that's ripe for peace in Ukraine and Russia, because the essentially things start to stop at that point. You run into problems in winter. Same thing Hitler ran into in Russia. It makes war real difficult. It's just logistically a problem when things are freezing up and soldiers are freezing and your supply, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a problem. Mother Nature presents a problem. And that's always been the case. You get these lulls over there, and a lot of the time the lulls are in winter. And I expect that Trump will negotiate some kind of a peace there. I think certainly within the next 6 months. I think that he'll. That's my guess, and I think he's working towards it. And instead of working on it directly, he's bringing more and more people into what I'm going to call the Trump American golden era kind of. He's bringing them into the fold. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So in other words, you're Turkey, and you want to be part of this golden era. Okay, help us provide security and help us get peace in Gaza and in the Middle East. And I think they're like, okay, we want to be part of it. And they're buying into Trump's vision of peace and prosperity. And I think Putin is going to do that too. He hasn't yet, but I think that I believe that he will. So, did you find the clip?
Well, I couldn't find it on X, but I found it on
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Fox News. I just sent it to you.
Let's see if we can pull it up and play
It's a video, so hopefully.
Let's see if it'll
we'll see
play
if it'll
on
play.
here. Come on, Trump. Hopefully they don't have some stupid ad like of course
there's an
they
ad.
have.
Of course they do. Sorry.
Hold on, I'll just mute it for a minute. We'll get through the ad. For some stupid video game. That's one of the reasons I use X, is because I don't have to deal with any ads.
Right. I was trying to search for it on X, and I didn't quite know how to.
Maybe it isn't on X, and I didn't see it on X, which is why I don't have the clip of it, because I can't imagine that I wouldn't have had the clip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was
Right.
such
And
a
it looks
great
like
line. Here
this
he
clip
is.
says it was just 22 hours ago.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but some interesting things are happening around the world. I'll say that.
Mr. President, it has been reported that Maduro
I love Trump.
in this country all the natural resources. He even recorded a message to you in English recently, offering mediation. What should we do in order to stop that?
Talking about Maduro.
Everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to f around with the United States. Thanks, everybody.
Did you say thanks, everybody?
That was the end of the press conference right there.
I love that. I love it. That's hilarious.
See, unlike Nick, I love Trump. And there are things about Trump and the Trump administration at times that frustrate me. But by and large, I don't know how you can't love him. I just love him.
Well, and when he talked about his cognitive decline and all that, and
I don't buy any of that.
I was going to say, I don't see that. I do see Trump being more serious this term, but I think he knows, he's got a lot of shit to do, and he's really trying hard in his time to get as much of it done as he can. So I just feel like he's a little more serious this time, but I don't think that he's declined in any way.
I don't think he's dropped at all.
No,
he hasn't lost a step, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So I am not. I am not on board with Nick when it comes to that.
That's funny.
I did have one little thing here that you'll appreciate from that's Anna Kasparian too, but that one was a good Anna Kasparian one, and I don't know, it just disappeared. I thought I had a good one here of Steve Bannon talking about Trump 2028.
Oh my goodness.
But I can't find it right now.
You can't?
No, I know that it's this is Bannon and Tucker talking about the coming Civil War, if you want to hear a little of that. But I don't know. We've talked about it. We've kind of gotten there. We're getting toward the end of the show here. The one thing I wanted to tell you.
Speculation about 2028, because I'd like to know how.
I know, and I can't find it.
I feel like I lost it. People who hate him would spontaneously combust if that happened. If that happened, they'd be so. Oh, they would just be furious.
You know what else is still out there is Tish.
Oh yeah.
Tish has, of course, been indicted for mortgage fraud.
Okay.
Right? Here's Tish talking about how she wants everybody to know that she's innocent. This is the Attorney General of New York, Tish James, who we affectionately call Tish, who targeted President Trump for fake mortgage fraud, and then finds herself embroiled in real mortgage fraud.
Because she was married to her dad. Oops.
Oops. Who knew?
Would say what she said. But first of all, the decision was based on the Administrative Procedure Act, an arbitrary and capricious act by this agency, and an unlawful act.
Oh.
And so too is the indictment. It's baseless. It's nothing more than retribution. Retribution for basically doing my job.
This from the woman whose entire political career was based on retribution, was based on getting Trump in front of that little clown judge, Edgeron or whatever.
My job following a 2-year investigation in a congressional hearing. It wasn't political. It was based on facts and the application of the evidence. And the judgment was sustained. The amount of the disgorgement was what was dismissed. But the judgment remains. And so at this point in time, we will vigorously defend those charges, those baseless charges.
You want to know who's vigorously defending her?
Who?
The taxpayers of New York.
Oh, right.
This is not, by the way, these mortgages weren't for state-owned properties for which the taxpayer might be asked to foot the bill. This was just Tish's private properties. But guess what, New York taxpayers? You get to foot the bill for that too. Because you foot the bill for everything. That's how it works.
Thank goodness their taxes
arraignment,
are
as
high.
you know, is next Friday. I visit Norfolk quite frequently. My family is in Norfolk. I love my family, and I will defend these charges. And I want everyone to know that it is completely baseless, and I am totally innocent. Thank you.
She's totally
I like how
innocent, Carrie.
she said faceless at least 3 times. That's awesome.
Hold on, that was Tish trying to be reasonable. Here's the real Tish.
I was going to say, this is thou. I will not break. I will not bend. I will not capitulate. I will not give in.
If you've seen Tish, she probably won't bend.
I'm like, you come for me, you gotta come to all of them. I will not bow. Wow. Break. I will not bend.
She will not bend.
Capitulate. I will not give in. I will not give up.
As far as we know, Tish can't even tie her own shoes. It's like bending a bowling ball.
Oh no. She's a piece of work. I'm glad you played that contrasting sound right there because I'm like, are we sure that's her? Because I've never heard her speak that way.
Here she is being all like trying to be whatever. One more interesting thing before we go. The share of students not identifying as male or female.
The share of students not identifying as one or the other.
Correct.
Like, okay, so they're like non-binary or something.
Whatever they are.
Gotcha.
That peaked in 2023 at around 9% of students. It is now in free fall and is back down to 2 and will probably be under 1 again before long.
Gosh, I hope so.
It was absolutely a social contagion. When you hear people say that and use that word, that's what the trans thing was.
Right.
So that is another place we're winning.
I'll say this though. I know people, I have friends whose children are struggling with this. And so, I mean, yeah.
I'm not saying we're out of the woods.
Right. We're not out of the, I was going to say I'm curious. So maybe
these are big trend students. Lines.
Right. I'm curious, what will happen to the ones who felt this way during the peak? I wonder what's going to happen to them now. Here, a few, did you say 2023?
Yeah, I think it'll fade. Later. I think you're going to see it fade out. But what I do think you're going to see, my guess, we'll see. You're going to see lawsuits out the wazoo on the mutilation of kids that has taken place at American and university hospitals. And they should be sued out of business. Every single institution that performed these surgeries, that mutilated, that sterilized young children, all of them should be put out. Well, they all ought to be in prison.
Yeah. Anyone under 18?
Yes.
You think over 18, they still have anything to say?
I still don't think the hospital should have been doing it.
I agree.
I'm not as incensed about it as I am. I tell you who else incenses me is the frickin' parents of these kids.
Oh, yeah. True.
They all ought to be hung. Anyway.
I know it was an obnoxious video, but I saw this woman, and she was talking about both her kids are trans, and they were like 3 and 4 and whatever. Right. And it was like, what are you talking about?
Line that woman up and shoot her by firing line, please. Those kinds of monsters, we don't have any place for in Western American culture anymore.
Yeah.
That's a little stiff.
It is. Is that going to come up in your next season of
Insurrection? I don't know.
Overpasses for these parents.
And just one last thing, and this isn't happy, this isn't anything. I'm just going to read it. But you know what's out there again is assisted suicide. So here's a little story. Jane Allen was suffering from anorexia.
Okay.
She traveled to Colorado seeking treatment. Instead, her doctor offered assisted suicide.
Oh my
gosh. A prescription for death. Her father intervened just in time. Jane began to heal, eating again, tapering off morphine. The anorexia clinic dropped her, calling her a liability. When Jane chose life, her doctors walked away. Assisted suicide isn't healthcare, it's preying on the sick and vulnerable. I believe that 100%. I think anything we do to I'm on the Right to Life page, I guess. Anything we do to devalue life, and I don't care whether it's at the front end or the back end, because those are always the places they go first. They always want to attack the margins. So we killed 50 million American babies over the course of, 20 years. And then we imported 50 million illegal immigrants. Now you tell me, who's winning there? Where's the math? Right?
It's so sad to me. I'm quickly just looking up something because I'm
horrible.
curious. It's really horrible. I'm curious where this is.
And in Canada now, they're selling organs. So they'll encourage people to use euthanasia, and then they sell their organs before they're even dead. They've got these sales set up.
That's awful.
It is demonic.
It is. I'm curious. Yeah. That's well, I mean, it's legal in Colorado among some other states, but I just was curious if I could find out like what the rates are. That's so sad.
It's horrible.
Yeah. I think in most cases that's completely avoidable. I think I would encourage anyone like not to do that, but I think most of them are not. It's like, why would you even?
Yeah. There should not be assisted suicide as part of our healthcare system.
Yes. I mean, it completely goes against the
people want to off
Hippocratic
themselves
oath.
and they get to that point because of disease or because of whatever, that's on them.
Yeah.
Talk your husband into putting a pillow over your face and do it like a man.
Do it like a man. That's awful. But yeah. Yeah, it just it goes completely against the Hippocratic oath.
Right. It's horrible.
So it doesn't make any sense.
Just like all the trans surgeries do.
Yes, you're right. Never
It's
thought
all
of it that way,
demonic.
but you're right.
It's all demonic. None of it's healthcare. It's horrible. We need to be saving lives.
Yes.
Not sacrificing them in America. So
right.
Anyway,
Can
that
we
was
hear
fun.
Can we hear Kamala one more time before we go?
Carrie needs something fun to go out on.
I do.
And I don't have anything today. I might have gotten rid of Kamala already. Sometimes when I'm doing, this is interesting.
Okay.
Half of the global population growth now comes from Africa. Is that hard? Isn't that amazing?
Wait, say that again.
Half of global population growth now comes from Africa.
Whoa.
Africa has as many births as everywhere else.
Oh my gosh, what?
Shocking.
That's crazy.
I don't know if that's a good sign. I suspect it may not be. But I just that was a little something I was throwing in just for fun.
Yeah,
I happened to come across it while I was looking for your Kamala thing. But I have a feeling that I think I got rid of Kamala.
All right, that's all right.
So we did what we could, guys.
You did.
We've got.
I will not bow.
No, I don't want to hear this.
I will not bend. I will not capitulate. I will not.
How many guys out there are trying to get Tisha to bend? I just don't believe
What
that
a
many.
squawker, man. That's quite a squawk.
Well, I think we did what we could, Carrie.
What
do you think?
We covered a lot of stuff.
We did.
Welcome home to the hostages, Trump.
Thank
Keep
God.
it up.
He's finding pieces breaking out all over the globe because of President Donald J. Trump.
Amen.
Cyrus the Great, our modern day Cyrus the Great.
So interesting.
It is.
Yeah, I'm glad that you explained that.
Well,
it was great to be back.
I thought so too. I enjoyed it. We went a little long, guys, but that's because we weren't here for a few weeks. So hopefully you enjoy it. Tell your friends about it. And we'll be back next week. And tomorrow for beers. Join us tomorrow for beers. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it is.
We're not your typical Christian thing. We just follow the stories and we enjoy it. We don't, we're not preaching at you.
No.
If the Holy Spirit preaches at you, through us, then, well, maybe you got something to deal with. But
that's kind of what we hope for. But, well, no, not like anything bad. Just, hopefully make you curious. And that's it.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us. We'll be back next week.
Sounds good.
But I thought this was overall a pretty positive show, pretty exciting. A lot of good things happening.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've got a lot of things we're worried about and we're, whatever. But you know what? I think Trump's living up to the hype.
It was a good news week. I like it.
Don't you? You feel like Trump's living up to the hype?
I think so.
Trump 2028, baby.
Woo! Yeah, go find that. I want to hear that next week.
We'll get that next week.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Catch us next week, next Tuesday, and catch us tomorrow for Beers with Jesus. And rate them, tell your friends about them, the whole thing.
Yes, please.
Make us go viral.
Woo!
All right, guys. Thanks, Gary. We'll see you next week.
Bye.